Hello, hello, hello. So come and join me, come and join me. I am super, super excited about this. I have just got back from a lovely day in Derbyshire, right by East Midlands Airport, actually, with some lovely people hanging out, going around Amazon Fulfillment Centre and sitting down and working out their plans for 2025. So I'm on a real high, and you do all this stuff online and you build your business online, but you can't beat real in-person connection, can you? And I've had a fab day with some awesome people. A big welcome. I'm super excited. As I say, I spent the day with some awesome people at an Amazon fulfillment center. If you've never been to an Amazon fulfillment center and you're curious and you're completely new to e-commerce, I'd really highly recommend it because it's just wow every time. I've probably been about 8 or 9 times now, and I've seen it evolve over the years as well. And there's more and more robots as we expect because AI and robots are taking over. But it's just so slick. And I'm sure you'll agree that we just can't beat Amazon, can we? So super excited about this because I'm going to be sharing some really good stuff with you and also sharing what I'm going to be focusing on in 2025. So we're talking all about how to be an e-commerce pro. And this isn't going to just be specifically about Amazon or Etsy. This is going to inspire you, especially if you're brand new to this stuff. And if you're not, if you are kind of like as addicted as I am to e-commerce, I'm sure you're going to take away some pointers as well to grow your business further. Because I know there's lots of different people in here. There's lots of people that I already work with in my Amazon 101 Academy. There are people that have bought like my print on demand programs and my Etsy courses. There are people from memberships and all sorts of different lovely people in here. And then there's also a lot of new people who are probably thinking, who is this Anna woman? And have never met me before. So come and let me know if, well, I know the people that know me and that I work with. That's obvious. But let me know if you're new to the group because I'm always a little bit nosy. Let me know whereabouts you're based, like if you're in the UK or you're outside the UK. Because I know there's a few people in here from Spain, and there's people from Australia, and there's people from the US, and I love to be a bit nosy because this is the great thing about working online that we can connect, can't we? Just by the power of Facebook and social media and Zoom, and we can connect to everybody across the world. And I was talking to one of my students recently actually about this, about how sometimes I've been in the online space since 2012, and I've developed friendships, and some people I've not actually ever met face to face, and some of my like I say real friends or offline friends think I'm weird, but I have met some really awesome people, and it's hard to kind of connect with people and meet up face to face when they live in South Africa or the US or Australia. But I absolutely love it, and for those of you that know me already, know that I'm a real people person, and this year I'm spending a lot more time actually doing more in-person events because I just feel like you just can't beat that real connection of connecting with people. So let me know where you are based, where you're tuning in from, just because I'm nosy. And also let me know, Becky's saying I'm an official e-commerce addict. I know you are. Also let me know what was the last thing that you bought online. And I don't want to hear anyone say, I haven't bought anything online. You have. I know you have because we've just finished Christmas, haven't we? And I'm sure even if you haven't purchased something online, somebody will have bought you something. And I know, Becky, you are the Temu queen. You've probably built bought the whole of Temu during Christmas. But let me know what that thing was. What was it you bought online and where was it? Was it on Amazon? Was it on eBay? Was it on TikTok? Was it on Etsy? Was it maybe on Instagram or Facebook? Just let me know what it was and where you bought it. Because that's going to be really interesting for this. I'm Vinted, thanks, Lucy. My son's getting really good at selling on Vinted. In fact, both of them are. And Ruben actually sold a pair of trainers recently, and I was like, you can't sell those. This is when he was packaging them up, getting the barcode on to send off. I said, you can't sell those. And like, got no shoelaces. He said, no, Mum, look. And he showed me the list and he'd put no shoelaces, and my dog has weed on one of them. So if he can sell stuff online, anybody can. It did make me giggle. I thought at least it's being what is it, honest about the reality of these trainers, and they were purchased. So we can sell most things online, even if it's our old stuff that we don't want anymore. So we have, let's have a look. We've got Genevieve from Blackpool. We've got Suffolk. We've got Vinted, Jump Off Vinted, iPhone case from Amazon. Rachel, long time lurker from Lancashire, love that. Northants, braces, toothbrush for my son on Amazon. Bought a tea bags off Amazon today. Vinted designer sweatshirt. I tell you what, I do love my Vinted purchases. I actually got this jumper from TikTok shop recently. I think it's pretty cool. God, I sound really big-headed. I love my cool t-shirt. Some elastic laces from Temu. Oh, interesting. A few people from Suffolk. Jessica's from Suffolk as well. I know, no shoelaces and dog wheel. Bob Proctor book off Amazon. Cat food. Oh, I like how these two are connecting. Lisa and Jess are connecting in Suffolk. And Michelle must have been a really decent pair for someone to do it. They were actually, because I was like, oh my God, you sold them for that amount. And my mum, but there's no laces. Anyway, it's really good to hear that you're shopping online because since COVID, we have seen a massive increase in online shopping. And I'm sure you will agree, you've probably shopped more. I think what came out of that was a change, wasn't it, in our behaviours of how we purchase things online. And there's loads of new stuff that is changing the landscape since COVID as well. Because I started in the e-commerce space back as I started my online business in 2012 when I got made redundant. And then in 2013, I launched my first product on Amazon. And I've seen a massive change because back then people were like saying, nobody is going to buy off a mobile phone. And now look what's happened. Everybody is buying off a mobile phone. I know I'm purchasing things on Amazon and TikTok, and a lot of these places keep our credit card details. All now with Apple Pay, it's just so easy and simple, isn't it? So I hope, for those of you that are complete new biz, because I know there's a lot of you that are already starting and already actually doing some smashing stuff on the likes of Amazon and Etsy. But for those of you brand new, I hope it sort of inspires you to think of like ways that you can create something from interests that you've already got. So let me know if there's anything else that's interesting coming through because I'm almost really nosy. Oh, how do you say that? Macrame cord. Is that to do the plants, isn't it? Because I saw some of those in India. Um, Lucy's saying, God, I lost my job in 2012. Everyone talks about that year. I know it is a pivotal year, isn't it? I think it is. Everyone talks about that year. So let me share my screen. And if you could let me know that you can see my screen, that would be great. Because I've got some lovely slides to go through. So let me know when you can see my screen. So you should be able to see it now. Good to see you, Elaine, as well. Oh, hold on. I'm on the wrong slide. Let me click on this one. Okay, so you should be able to see how to be an e-commerce pro. Let me know when you can see that. Bit of a slide blip. I'm going to keep an eye on your comments. So let me know if you've got a question, I'll keep referring back to the comments. So let's get into it then. So I love stats because people challenge me and say, oh, is there still room in the e-commerce space? Is it too saturated? What is happening? There's lots of changes happening all the time. Things are growing all the time. And there's, like I say, since 2020, we saw that massive uptake with the likes of Amazon and Etsy, eBay as well. But I've got to say, if you want eBay help, I am not your person. I don't really tend to sell on eBay. And it's probably because most of the sellers on eBay are selling on price. And you'll hear more about my strategy. So, you'll understand that that's why I don't sell on the likes of eBay. So let's dig in then. So just some stats for you. This was my Black Friday sales, one of my best Black Friday sales. We had a record Black Friday just finished in 2024, and sales on Amazon hit a whopping 10.8 billion in online sales. So that was a 10% increase on the year before. So for people who are saying, oh, it's flat, it ain't. It grew by 10% last year. And the predictions are that it's going from strength to strength. And also with Amazon, and I'm going to go through some of the marketplaces on here, other marketplaces, sorry. With Amazon, there's more geographies coming on now. So we've seen we used to just have France, Germany, Spain, and Italy. We've got Netherlands, we've got Sweden now. We've also got Dubai and Singapore. Australia hit a few years ago as well. So there's more and more geographies that are expanding on the Amazon marketplace. And just between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Black Friday, shoppers spent $11.3 million per minute. Per minute. So that's huge, isn't it? Um, and actually, what was very interesting today when I was in Derbyshire going around one of the Amazon fulfillment centres, um, there was there was a guy that was asking a few questions, and we were watching all these products coming in and then how they were stowing those products. And a guy was like, oh, so how does it work with all of these? How does Amazon buy off all of these suppliers? And I just thought, "Oh, I'm always poking my nose in, so I kept my mouth shut. But the guy was like, oh, it's actually only just over a third that is Amazon. And this is the thing to remember when we think, the high street is going, actually, over half, 60% of the sales come from independent sellers like me, like Becky, like Holly, like Shireen. I'm trying to think who else is selling on Amazon here. So, you know, we perceive that it's Amazon, and actually it's a marketplace. So imagine it being a huge shopping center with all of these independent sellers on there and different brands. And this, interestingly, they predicted 10.18 billion, and actually it hit 10.8 billion. So it was just over 5 billion more in reality. And the prediction here is that 2025, so at the end of this year, Black Friday sales are going to hit 10.8. So that's definitely going to be over 11 billion. So you can see from when I first started in 2013 how it has increased over this time. So when people are saying that, I hear people say, oh, there's so many products, it's flat. The buyers are increasing, the products are increasing, the sales are increasing year on year. So Amazon is absolutely huge. Here's some of the results from the recent challenge I did. This was Jamie who sold out really quick in a couple of days doing his elf set. This was Susan as well. She was doing some Christmas garlands. There was also a lady that I was working with that was doing Christmas trees. Lots of really good results from the recent Amazon challenge that I did. And that was like a fast track program over 3 weeks. And they opened their Amazon account, found a product, sourced it, got it into Amazon, and were starting to sell. It was all about learning the process. And most people got their first sales. Um, but it's not just Amazon. So let's have a look at Etsy. Um, so as of 2024, there were 9.004 million active Etsy sellers. In quarter two, Etsy had 91.5 million active buyers. The marketplace revenue, it's just like digits after digits, isn't it? It's big. It's not as big as Amazon, but it's still seen the growth, and especially through COVID, and as again is showing no stop in that growth. The best-selling items have been things like personalized and customized items, and now I was always put off by customized items because I was thinking I like to do everything automated, but actually you can use AI now to personalize items for you so you can create that automation. So you don't actually have to be doing it yourself. Things like wall art, children's clothing, digital items. So we tend to think of physical products, don't we? But actually, there's a whole load of digital items that we can sell on Etsy, such as graphics, wall art, journals, clip art. The list goes on. Sellers demographics, which is an interesting one. 97% of Etsy sellers run their own shops from home. And actually, I can't remember the actual stat, but majority are women. And actually, over half, which is my sector, are multi-channel sellers. That means they sell on different marketplaces, such as Amazon, eBay, etc. So over half of the people on Etsy selling lots of other places as well, and then nearly 100% run their own shops from home. So if you want to build a business from home, Etsy is a pretty good place to start. Buyer spending. So the average annual buyer spends on gifts was $38. And Etsy ended quarter two 2024 with 1.1 billion in cash, with cash equivalents and investments as well. Um, and actually, the marketplace is valued at 8.96 billion. So it's not as big as Amazon, but it's pretty big. It's not one to ignore, you know. And I think that Etsy is an easier marketplace if you're brand new to anything with e-commerce. I think it's a much easier platform to get your head around. Lucy's saying I joined Etsy in 2023. I love my digital items, don't have to make them again once it's on. Exactly. There's no shipping. You just create it and then it's going to sell over and over again. And you don't have to worry about getting it to the customer because as soon as they buy, it's sent to their inbox. So this was Etsy seller and buyer stats, which I thought was an interesting one. From living in rural areas to running their own shops from home. And 80% identifies women. So that's it. That's the stat. So majority of Etsy sellers tend to be women. And I think that's usually there's a lot of homeschoolers on there. There's a lot of people who do crafts. If anybody has anyone bought anything on Etsy on here? Because the majority of people that buy on Etsy do tend to be like into organic and vegan and spiritual handmade, and so that's why I think majority are like women and also are working from home. But we're not going to stop there because these are the three main areas that I'm focusing on this year. And so this is why I wanted to share some of this stats with you. So I ignored TikTok for many years because I just thought it was a stupid social platform for kids. And my two boys who are teenagers are just obsessed with it. And I have to try and restrict their use on it because I think sometimes it's programming their brain. Um, but TikTok is expected to have 16.8 million users by the end of last year. And the ad revenues were expected to hit 10.42 billion, which was a 38% increase. So whereas Amazon's growth has from Black Friday to Black Friday was 10%, TikTok is growing like crazy. And the thing I love about TikTok, just as a social platform, is it reminds me of Facebook back in 2012. So I don't know if anyone's my age, late 40s, but if you remember a decade ago, you used to be able to post stuff on Facebook and everybody saw it. Just like how when I was going live now, we have to, in a group, we have to do everyone, we have to like keep sharing it. We have to get, please give me lots of likes because it means more people are going to see this because it's so difficult. There's 2.6 thousand people in this group, but there's what, 16 of you watching right now. Um, and the organic reach has massively dropped on Facebook. And I'm not a big fan of Facebook anymore. I better not say that too loud because they might be tracking me on AI. Whereas TikTok has still got loads of organic reach. So even if you haven't got many followers on TikTok, it's put onto the For You page and more people can, it's more visible to everybody in the community. So TikTok is something to watch, and it's something that I'm spending a lot of time on this year because this idea of social commerce is getting bigger. Now, Amazon are also doing a lot of social commerce. If you go to amazon.com/live, you'll see lots of influencers that are demonstrating their stuff every day, on the platform. And it's live. It's a bit like QVC. This social commerce, to me, being old school, is like QVC. Has anyone bought anything on here from a TikTok Live? Let me know. This stripy jumper that I've got on, I bought from TikTok. Um, Let me have a look here. Yeah, I bought Quickly About Bees over a year ago. I think that was for Etsy, wasn't it? Um, Personalized PJ bottoms. Oh, that probably was Etsy as well. Let me know in the chat if you bought anything from TikTok recently. As I say, I was a bit like anti it until last year. I started getting serious last year. And this year it's gonna be a bigger focus of mine because the stats are absolutely crazy. The growth of it and the reach, as I say, that you don't have to spend a lot on advertising. And what is great with TikTok is that there's so many influencers on there. So you can give a sample of your product to an influencer and it can literally just blow up overnight. Um, and I think this live selling, where you're demonstrating a product like QVC is so, so powerful. And the great thing is, what we're focusing on in the Amazon 101 Academy is looking at how we can use TikTok to drive traffic to our products on Amazon as well. So there's loads of like cross-pollination as well. Um, Not yet. A flashlight phone charger in my basket. There you go. I don't have TikTok, but my sister buys a fair bit from it. I know my kids are obsessed with it. Ruben's bought tongue scrapers. He bought a charger lead the other week. He bought a mouse mat. And even though Amazon, I've always talked about Amazon being next day prime, TikTok, I think you can get stuff in a few days. Generally, it just depends where that seller is shipping from, but definitely within sort of 5 to 7 days. So TikTok Shop, as I say, is a big focus of mine this year, and we can see that this is the expectation. So TikTok Shop is expected to be the biggest contributor to buyer and sales growth for 2024. So if you are building a brand, whether it be a service-based business or you'll want to sell physical products, you've got to look at TikTok and see if it might not be appropriate to sell on there. But we can also use it as a way to drive traffic. And US social commerce are expected to reach 71.62 billion. And that was actually for last year. So absolutely huge. And you always think that all the users are young. There is a lot of users that are young, but there are also a lot of lurkers. There's a lot of lurkers everywhere on social media, isn't there? And I know we all do it. We all scroll and we're lurking. Um, but it tends to be the younger guys that are putting the content out. But if you look at this, over 30, the age group of over 30 to 39 is what, 22%? And then 40 to 49, was my age group, is just over 20%. And then 50 plus is 11%. So you've got a good 50% that are over 30, which might be quite surprising for you. So even though there might not be as many kind of influencers that are that age, there's a lot of people that are using the platform, and so they are potential buyers for us. And this is always really surprising when I show this stats to people. Yeah, I've done the toilet rolls as well, Rachel. So I hope that's got you kind of creative energy, kind of flying and kind of thinking about where you want to spend your time if you're already selling stuff online, physical and digital products. Maybe you're already selling on Amazon. You might want to kind of put TikTok as your strategy this year. Maybe you're brand new and you're thinking, how do I start all of this? Maybe you're spending a fortune or you've spent a fortune over Christmas buying stuff and you're thinking, how could I actually make some money by selling some of this kind of stuff? Um, or maybe, you've started with Etsy and then the next thing is to move to Amazon, just like Becky has done. So Becky, has built a brand on Etsy and has now started selling that brand, and she was making her own product, and now she's got a supplier from Taiwan that's doing that product, and she's grown momentumly as, like step by step, but it all started with Etsy. And I'm sure, Becky, this year you will be on TikTok. That'll be the next thing for you. So this is what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover how to start finding these products, and then also which place to start selling them on. Which one is appropriate for you? Maybe you've dabbled with Amazon and you're thinking, well, actually, maybe Etsy might be better for me. Maybe you've started on Amazon and you want to expand to Etsy. Maybe you're thinking, actually, TikTok could be a good focus this year. Or maybe you're completely clueless and you're thinking, how do I just start all of this? So we're going to look at how to pick the right products, which marketplace and store to sell on, or multiple, and then what is going to be your strategy this year. And then also I'm going to share something with you because last year I focused a lot on my coaching programs and, working with me for 12 months. I shared something in the group recently about working with me for 3 months and 90 days in my Amazon 101 program. Because I always want to be realistic that you're not going to get success overnight. Sometimes you can launch a product over Christmas and do really well, but it takes time and you might make a mistake initially. It's going to take you 6 to 12 months to gain some momentum. Some people can do it in 90 days, great. Other people might, get success in a few weeks. But I want to give you the right mindset because I get sick of seeing all this stuff online about, 7 figures in 7 days. It's going to take you time to build a profitable business. But you've got to start in the right place, and you've also got to be accountable, and you've got to also learn from the right people. And that's why also I've always done my programs for 12 months. But this year, I'm going to give you an offer to work with me for less than 20 quid. So let me know if that sounds good because not everybody can afford £3,000 to work with me over the course of the year. And obviously, there's different ways you can learn. You can do things, you can do it yourself. You can go on YouTube and be really accountable to yourself and learn on your own. You can find a coach or a mentor and invest in a program, and that's going to get you there quicker. Or then you can actually pay someone to do it for you, and that will be the most expensive. So I'm going to share something with you today, if that's okay, at the end of how you can work with me for less than 20 quid. So I hope that's exciting for some of you who may not have been able to afford some of the coaching programs that I did last year. So for people who don't know me, I'm going to be quick because I know there's a lot of you on here that are watching that do know me. So I don't want to go on too much about me, but I think it's important for the new people in the group who don't know me at all, to know a little bit about my background. So I'm Anna, first and foremost. And I've been working in the online space since I got made redundant from the corporate world in 2012. A lot of people know me. In fact, someone called me Amazon the other day. I was thinking of creating a t-shirt with it on. Amazon has always been my baby, really. Amazon is what I tend to focus a lot on. But I also sell on Etsy and I also have a lot of books on Amazon. And I've also dabbled with TikTok, and that's going to be a big thing for me this year. I also have a podcast, and I'm actually going to be launching a new podcast this year, so watch that space. And as I say, I've done lots of different books. There's a new book coming as well. So I have a new book and also a new podcast for this year. Now, I'm sharing this quickly. Those of you that know me know my story. And the only reason I share this is that whether you've gone through a health condition, whether you have lost your job, whether you have lost someone in your family very dearly to you, or whether you've, gone through a divorce or had something similar to me. And, I'm a proud domestic abuse survivor. I wish I could legally say domestic violence, but that was never proved. So I'll stick with the abuse. But I'm sharing this to basically inspire you that no matter what you go through, you can, as long, it might have taken me a bit longer. I watched people, I had that comparinitis and watched people do things quicker than me. But that doesn't matter, does it? It's about keeping that vision and keep yourself accountable and keep incrementally moving forward. And now I'm proud to say that, I earn a lot more than I did in the corporate world. I've spent a lot of time taking my children away on holiday because I want to spend more time with them. My parents are now getting a little bit older and I want to spend a bit more time with them. And I can choose pretty much what I do from day to day. And that is because I would say of my mindset and resilience to really, I really wanted to make my kids proud. I didn't want to be this victim. So I'd encourage you, whatever you're going through, just to focus on what is your dream business? It might not be Amazon, Etsy, or TikTok, whatever it is, believe in yourself because no one else is going to believe in it for you. And I just want to inspire people to go after their dreams because if I can do it, I know anyone can. So I'll stop harping on about that. So as I say, I was in the corporate world. So I did, I was successful in the corporate world, but I didn't have any time. I became a mum and really wanted to work around my kids. I've been recognised for a few things along the way. Some are on here. And also, this was a competition that I won from China. So I don't know if anyone's heard of DHgate. They're like the eBay of China. And I won first place. And I actually got $5,000, which I was pretty chuffed with because it's hard to get money from China. We're normally paying them. I started with Facebook ads. That's how I first started online. I learned a lot about Facebook ads. And that's why I know a lot about the difference between Facebook and TikTok. Um, Back then, there was a lot of organic reach, and I was helping offline businesses with their Facebook marketing. And that was something I learned by investing in a coaching program. So built loads of different successful brands on Amazon, Etsy, my own stores. I keep saying 10 years of digital entrepreneur, but it's over that now, isn't it? It's like 13 this year. And as I say, I've done lots of different books as well. So if you're interested in doing books, definitely send me an email or DM. Lots of different success stories as well, which again doesn't happen overnight. People that I've worked with work hard to achieve the results, and there's no quick wins out there. And I think it's important to let you know that. So let's get into it. Let's help you. I want to help you. I want you to walk away with sorry, with something that you've learned, not just listening to me. So let me just escape a minute from here and stop sharing. I'm going to give you a little bit of lesson on how to start picking products that you want to start selling. So I want you to think now, and I want you to share in the comment section, or if you don't want to share in the comment section, just write it down or write it in your head. But I want you to think of the things that you purchase online. That was why I asked you that question at the beginning. So what kind of interests have you got? What kind of products do you buy? Do you buy a lot of things for the home? Do you buy a lot of candles? Do you buy a lot of beauty products? Are you into sports and fitness? Are Jamie today that was on my Amazon day, he does a lot of triathlons, and that's what he's focusing on. I think it's really important whichever platform that you're selling on, that you start with a niche that you're interested in. And the reason being is that you can then, you understand those products and you've bought them yourself and you understand from a customer's point of view how you could improve them or what's missing or how to improve the quality. So think of a niche and let me know in the chat. Welcome to Kim. Kim, I mentioned you earlier. I was saying there are Aussies in here. I'm trying to think what time it is for you guys over there. It must be very early morning, actually, Kim. I'm just realizing. So Kim is focusing on lots of different books and helping families really, that have neurodiversity. So think about either an experience that you've gone through. I know Lucy, you're focusing on a lot of homeschooling stuff for kids. Think of either it doesn't have to be a big hobby, but the interests that you have or the products that you buy. And let me know in the chat. Oh, it's 7:40. So Lucy's saying, I did buy a lot of curriculums as a home educator. I was struggling to find one that wasn't Christian based, so I made my own. Love it. Let me know. So Shireen, I know Shireen, you're doing I know you've got a lot of jewelry actually we discovered yesterday as well. So let me know You had a I didn't even know that until you shared it with me that you had a shop full of jewelry. So let me know what it is that you either buy, or it could be like me. I buy a lot of sort of tech gadgets, my office, and like phone stands, or laptop cases and bags and things like that. I quite like chairs as well for some reason. But let me know what kind of interest that you have, because this is what we want to start with. We want to start with our interests. Now, we don't want to get carried away with our interests and go down a route of finding products to sell that we might not be profitable. And what we do is we have a look at different software. So there's different softwares for different marketplaces that we can validate our product ideas. And some free places to validate your product ideas is by going on things like Google Trends, asking questions on things like anything AI. And now you'll have noticed with all the Gemini stuff and all the stuff for this year with Google, there's all the AI results that come in when you type things in. But you can have a look on Google Trends. You could have a look on, I often look on TikTok for products for Amazon, or eBay for products for Amazon. I look at the US for products, but have certain interests that I focus on. So over the years, I've sold electric scooters. I've done a lot of children kind of based products. I've also done beard grooming kits and beauty products. I did magnetic eyelashes. Not that I actually wore those though. Um, I have done supplements because I was really into health supplements. So think about the kinds of niches and the kind of things that you have an interest in. And that is the best place to start. And then what we do is we start validating those products. And it's different for different marketplaces. So for instance, for Amazon, I focus on products that sell between 20 and £50. If you're selling digital items on Etsy, they'll likely be under £10, most of them, unless you bundle in a big bundle together. Or you could have like digital clip art that you're selling for 99p. You could, books that you're creating are likely to be 10 or £15. You might have larger items that you're interested in. When I sold the electric scooters, they were like £300. So have a think about the types of products that you have some knowledge in. Because when I was doing the electric scooters, it was really difficult because I didn't have any knowledge in it. I had to educate myself, and had to go in and do a lot of market research on what the problems were with this item, so I could help improve it and make it better. So it's a lot easier if you start off with things that either you buy or might be an interest, and that can come from your hobbies and interests, or things that you buy, or maybe an experience. And I tend to see that, I know there's a mixture of men and women in here, it tends to be more women want to do things to create purpose. Men do as well, though. Where you want to develop a brand that's going to make a bit of a difference. It might be under health and well-being, or it might be in the auto niche, if you're into cars or like bikes and things like that. So have a think. I know a few of you are letting me know now. Rachel's saying a wide range of things, but I fancy doing a range of tights, trendy ones in fashion. Oh, I love those. I bought some spotty ones actually, or some ones with little love hearts on TikTok. um, so yes, write them down and think of one niche. So like Rachel just said, tights, that would be fashion accessories. And then she's got tights, and she might have some other products. So think of one niche and give me a list of 5 products. Let me share my screen again. Um, and then what we will do is decide from that, once you have decided which is the right product, and validated that product against the competition. Because what we're doing is we're looking for products that are in demand but are not saturated. So a product that is saturated is a yoga mat. There's absolutely thousands of them. So we want to look for products that are in demand but are not too saturated. And we also want to think about how we can stand out from the competition. So have a think and let me know, and I can give you some feedback on your product ideas. This was Salvio Pure. This was my first ever brand. I actually sold this because I had 2 other guys that invested in it, and I wanted to go alone. But it was a prenatal vitamin, a skin, hair, and nail vitamin, which is the one in the middle, and then a probiotic, and I also had a weight loss one as well. And what I loved about this was it's consumable. So I sold it on Amazon with subscribe and save. So people got discount by repeat, like saying they wanted to order it every 4 weeks. You might have done that yourself. Um, so have a think of the types of products and let me know in the chat. And then this was another brand actually. iPad cases are so old-fashioned now, aren't they? And then we use Jungle Scout, which is a software, and there's other software as well, like Helium 10, loads of other ones as well, that help us look at the competition for the figures. So we do have to validate our ideas, but it's always good to start off with brainstorming all the social platforms, looking on Instagram, looking at, TikTok, and then coming up with one niche and sort of 3 to 5 product ideas within that niche as a starting point, and think about how you can be different than the competition. And I love helping people validate their product ideas. The next step then, number 2, is that you need to work out which is the marketplace for you. And that isn't just about you getting your head around it. It's about what's the right platform to sell that product on. So let me just have a look at the chat. So Genevieve got beauty gadgets or tools, um, affirmation cards, tarot and crystals. That's really good, isn't it, for Etsy? I like the tights idea. I think you could do that on Amazon and Etsy, Rachel. Um, if we were doing Amazon, it would either be crystal supplements or mushroom coffee. I like that. Yeah, nice. Supplements could be a good one. And you know what? You don't always have to. We always think we're going to buy the product and invest in the product. We need a lot of money to invest. You don't. Like, there's a lot of supplement companies that you can actually white label and do drop shipping. So you sell the item and then you're sourcing that item one at a time. Kim saying Simon's been focused on pet leashes, scratchboard, lick mat, electrical toys, grooming equipment. Yeah. I think, the pet niche is very profitable. There are quite a lot. You've got to be different because there are a lot of things like dog leashes. But I know Simon's is a little bit different. So you've got to think about like some of the enrichment toys, how can we stand out? Lisa saying got a large dog from South Africa and struggled to find leads and collars. So I was thinking of a leather dog accessory, but plenty of pet shops tell us they don't stock for extra large dogs as there isn't a demand for it in the UK. So not sure if it's worth doing. So we could look at validating that on, like to see what the demand is in it. So we look at the keyword SEO. So the next step is, everyday products are great on Amazon because why do we shop on Amazon? We shop on Amazon because we want the item quickly for next day prime, don't we? TikTok, we get drawn in a lot. There's a lot of fashion products, there's a lot of beauty products, there's a lot of sweets, I see, and there's a lot of pet products actually on TikTok. Etsy then is really like a lot, like we talked about before, there's a lot of home mums, there's a lot of digital downloads, there's a lot of things around weddings, there's things around homeschooling, ADHD, neurodiversity. And in fact, Kim, a lot of your books could go on Etsy, just thinking about it. So it all just depends. We're going to work out where our customers are. And they might be on a couple of places. It might be TikTok and Amazon. It might be Etsy and Amazon, which is the place that you're going to focus on. We think about that niche and where our customers hanging out. Now you could build your own store, but you're going to need a big budget to spend on ads because imagine TikTok, Etsy, eBay, Amazon, they're all marketplaces, they're like shopping centers. And that's where, if you go to a shopping mall or a shopping center, all your customers are hanging out, aren't they? Whereas if you build a website, it's like having a shop in the middle of nowhere and you've got to get your customers through the door. So you need to either have a long or a big list of customers, or you've got a large ad spend, or you can partner with someone that's got, those followers. So yeah, so we've got to decide then based on that product and who that customer is, which marketplace is the best. So for instance, let me give you an example. I gave the yoga mat example. There may be yoga mats for kids. That you're finding a niche within a niche because it's not as competitive. Where would be the best marketplace? It might be TikTok, or there could be a segment of Etsy if it's a spiritual part of it. So we can decide who that customer is, and then that makes us decide which marketplace. And we have to do the research. We can't just guess. We can't make assumptions, and that's where a lot of people make mistakes when they make those assumptions. We've got to look at the data where, yeah, and this is moving on. Let me just show you. Oh, hold on, before I move on. For those of you who don't know how Amazon works, and this is why I focused on Amazon for so long, is that we have fulfillment centers in Amazon. So this was a light bulb moment of mine many years ago. I send my products from China and India straight to an Amazon warehouse. Not all of them. At Christmas time, sometimes I, have products here, but generally I send those products to directly to Amazon. So I don't touch those items. I don't have to pick and pack and ship them like you would do on eBay or Etsy. Amazon then stores those products and then they deal with all the customer service and all the handling and ship direct to the customer. So I just wanted to be clear on that, and that's why I've always focused on Amazon. But now TikTok are doing TikTok fulfillment. So what does it stand for? Is it TBA? Um, fulfillment by it's TikTok by no, what is it? FBT, that's it. It's fulfillment by TikTok. So yeah, TikTok are now going to be doing it, and we're going to probably see more marketplaces doing fulfillment, which is exciting. And that's going to be the change of the landscape. So it helps us as sellers be a bit more hands-free. Because I don't know about you, I want to be able to, like today, I was obviously in Derbyshire, or if I'm in Spain, my parents got a house in Portugal. I want to be able to just log onto my laptop and check my sales or do my marketing and not have to worry about being chained to all my products at home to ship those out. So we want to create automation and hands-free. So we have to decide which marketplace it's going to be. Um, and then we focus on the strategy. And one of the biggest strategies is looking at those keywords. So it's all the SEO, and this is all the stuff that I teach my students. Shireen saying my interest in making and teaching jewelry, home decor, organising, cleaning, natural beauty products, device supplements, furniture upcycling. I definitely think Etsy is for you. Also interested in finding ways to navigate through grief, trauma, menopause, fibromyalgia, domestic abuse survivor as well. Know that, Shireen. However, I don't know how to develop the idea or incorporate products other than healing crystals. So there could be digital. The great thing about Etsy is you can have multiple shops. So you could sell some of those products and continue Amazon growth, but also have multiple Etsy shops. Like you could have one that was all digital downloads that was helping people through the grief and the trauma and all that kind of stuff, like your mindset or your well-being. And also you could also incorporate the jewelry in that in some respects. So some of you may have heard my this before because I know I share this with my Amazon students around solving a problem. We want to look about improving a product feature and standing out, against the competition. I tend to, even for my Etsy products, is looking at how I can improve the value. I don't want to be competing on price. I want to build a brand. I want to, improve the materials, improve the packaging, and improve that whole customer experience. And I think, Amazon and Etsy do really well at that. And I also think that I can see, some of the things on TikTok are kind of, on price, but you're buying in sometimes that person and that brand on the lives. So TikTok also is great for brands. We also want to look whether a product is profitable. So I'm aiming for, it's generally a third, a third, a third, but I really want to get to 40% profit margins. So 30% is the cost of the product to you. 30% will be your fees and your shipping to the customer. So your marketplace fees, wherever you're selling, and then 40% is profit margins. Now, if you're doing digital items, that's going to be higher because you're not going to have loads of shipping, are you? And if you're doing books, it tends to work out to be a third as well. So we have to do our numbers. Just as we do our validations, we have to do our numbers. So if you're selling something that's 20 quid, it might be less than that, 20 quid, you're going to have to sell 15 a day and this is turnover. So to hit a six-figure business. And again, if you're selling something at 40, increases, 50 increases again. So if whatever your price points are, you're going to work out your numbers so you can set out what you're going to hit that month. And just some examples of brands that I have helped people develop, mainly through Amazon. But some of these, like the yoga mat one, you can also do on the likes of Etsy and TikTok. This is what happened in COVID. This was the amount of new Amazon warehouses that were built, and every time I see this, it just blows my mind. Especially when I think I got involved in 2012 to 2013. 2013 was when I launched my first product, and just the growth of the amount of warehouses. I'm sure you've got an Amazon warehouse near you. So, finding a product, validating that product with some of the stats, looking at demand and competition. We don't want to just do a Me Too product like everybody else. We don't want to just do a water bottle. We've got to think about who that customer is. We want to build a brand online. And I think most people want to build something that's a bit of purpose. They want to know that they're selling quality products rather than just selling a load of crap to make some money. We want to build a profitable business by building a brand. We've got to decide on the marketplace. And then we've also got to decide on the strategy depending on which marketplace it is and which customers are on which marketplace. And that's what I do within everything that I've done with my Amazon 101 Academy. I've done, like I said, I've done Etsy courses and programs. I've got my book program. I've done retreats. And I've met some of you who've come on the retreats. And this year I wanted to offer you something, as I said, that where you can work with me for less than 20 quid. So let me know if you want to be an e-commerce pro this year. And whether it's to earn, an extra few hundred quid a week, or you want to replace a job income, or you may be a business owner that wants another income stream. Because whatever we want to do, whatever we want to build, we've got to commit to it. And as I say, from my journey, I always beat myself up and think it's taken me longer than other people, but so what? I got there, didn't I? Because I didn't give up. And these are the things that get in the way: time, funds, job, family and friends saying, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Procrastination because you're just overanalyzing. Because when you're doing something for yourself, you haven't got a boss to tell you. Isn't it funny if you've got a job and you're told to do something, you do it? Whereas when you're doing stuff for yourself, sometimes you give yourself excuses. So we've got to keep ourselves accountable, and being part of a community or having a coach and a mentor helps you do that. We overanalyze, we lose interest, we can have Amazon or Etsy or TikTok issues. I had a TikTok issue last year, it put me back, and we sometimes give up. So these are things that stop us, and we all have them. It's just the only difference between people who have made success and who haven't have been consistent and kept at it and kept the focus and keep doing it consistently. The action is the boring bit, the ideas and the creativity is the nice bit, isn't it? But we've got to do the work, we've got to be consistently building stuff. So if you want to work with me for less than 20 quid, in fact, it's £15.20, keep listening. These are the things that I think we need. And this is where I help you, whichever marketplace you're going to be selling on. This is what I talked about before. This is my Amazon 101 Academy. And I did a post earlier on in the week, and I know some of you have joined to come and work with me for 3 months. But I know not all of you have got that investment. And this is why I've put this together. So this was my Amazon 101 Academy, where it's a coaching program. We have weekly calls every Monday and Thursday. I get you a plan. I help you validate products. I introduce you to all my like suppliers and agents. We have, face-to-face meetups. We've got a community. It's really good. I'm my own bias, but this is the investment, and it's not always for everybody. So this is what I've created. So it's a place, it's a community where there are monthly strategy calls. The next one is next Wednesday for February. I'm putting actually some stuff in within that as well to keep you accountable. There's Q&A sessions. and they may be on Amazon or Etsy or TikTok. And if you want to get deeper into something, you can buy a mini course. But you learn about branding and design. I give you content. So there's clip art. I put some clip art bundles in there for Valentine's recently. So you can actually take those and start using them to sell. There's templates, the digital download templates and ebooks and recipe templates. And there's a great network and community where people can ask questions and support each other. It's not a coaching program, but it's a community with lots of Q&As and expert masterclasses to help you get there. I'm really excited about this. It's not on Facebook. It's not on Facebook because I got sick of Facebook. There are 42 of us already in there. And it's on a platform called School, which has its own app, but it hasn't got all the noise of Facebook. So when I post in there, people will see, and it also emails the members. What's great, I'll give you a little demo in a minute. It's also got a classroom, so it tells you all the replays and different things are in there, all the recordings. There's a calendar that tells you what's happening, all the members, there's a leaderboard, and there's a community. I took some screenshots of what people have been saying that are in there already. So this is straight from the people that are in here, which you can see. They're all loving it so far. I wanted to test it, so I created it. When did I create it now? I think it was like initially it was sort of July, August, and there was about 10 of us in there. And then towards the last quarter of last year, I always like to test things first, but I'm ready now to open it up to everybody. So it's in dollars because it's a US platform school. Um, Lots of value in there. It's $19, which works out to be £15.20 currently. That might, with the exchange rate, might go a little bit up and a little bit down, but I doubt it will go over 16. It'll be like around about the £15. Um, and it's a monthly subscription, but there's no tie-ins. You can leave anytime. And I'm super excited about it because there's been a lot of people over this last year that are like, I can't afford to work with you in your coaching programs, but how else can you help and support me? And what is great is at the moment it is quite small, so there's lots of help for people in there. So I will share the details. We have lots of fun as well. This is me with Zoe's hair wrap on. Because I do think it's important to have fun at the same time. Every month we have a monthly strategy to keep you on track. What are you doing this month? What are you committing to do this month? Whether you're working on Etsy, books, Amazon, TikTok, whatever within e-commerce. I'll give you a little demo now. So here it is. So you come in here, it's very much like, a kind of social platform where you can ask questions and things. And then there's different tabs for Etsy questions, Amazon, TikTok, those the main thing we're focusing on. Then in the classroom, I'm adding content to this all the time. We've got all the previous monthly calls, the Amazon calls, the Etsy calls, the Canva, which is design, TikTok, design and branding. There's also some courses if you want to get deeper into print on demand, which I think are about £99 if you really wanted to get stuck into the Amazon challenge that I recently did before, the Etsy digital program I've done, and the print on demand one. There is also going to be an eCom 101 one coming, and a TikTok one. And then the calendar, you can come in here so you can see here, we've just done an Amazon session yesterday. And then our next one is here, which is the monthly strategy. So you got the link to join us, and then you can see all the members in here and then the leaderboards. Because it does this, I'm going to do something fun with this leaderboard thing, so that you can, so we can have some fun as we get more stuck into it. So as I say, this is, as you can see, it is $19 a month. So yeah, super, super excited. Let me know if you've got any questions on anything that I've covered, and also any if you want more info. Yeah, it was fab. Sorry, did you say pay extra for the print on demand bit? Yeah, so some of the live courses that I've done before you can purchase and go through. So that is extra. But if you were doing print on demand, you can come and join the sessions and ask questions. If you were doing it, there isn't kind of like curriculum step one, step two, step three. But we do masterclasses on topics. So we might do a masterclass on print on demand, or we might do a masterclass on, there was a book session that we did. We've done Etsy listing sessions. We've done Amazon Q&As. But there isn't kind of like curriculums like step one, step two, step three. And you could purchase those separately if you wanted to go through those video trainings. Um, it's basically a place to be able to reach out and get help as you're building your whichever marketplace or brand that you're building. It's a great place to start because I totally get, and this is why I put it together, that sometimes you don't want to dive into the deep end, or you might not have the money to invest. And I know what it was like when I first started. You might not have the finances to invest, or you might have just been a bit unsure, and you want to kind of like find your feet and warm up. There's been a few people in there who have been like, I'm here because I really want to do something with e-commerce, but I'm not sure what yet. So I'm listening to some of the calls and asking questions and getting my feet wet before I kind of dive straight in. Maria's asked question, how much usually do you need to invest to create a product? It will depend on the product, but do you need to invest a lot and see if the product sells? So what I always say, depends what or I suppose any platform if you were buying the product. I always think it's best to just get 20 to 30 units of something initially to test. So if you were selling that for 20 quid or $20, you're going to invest about £5 or £6 per unit. So times that by 20 is 200 quid, isn't it, initially? So a couple of hundred quid will get you started. I don't want anyone to invest thousands to begin with, not on your first product, because you're going to make mistakes on that first product. No matter how much I tell you what to do, there will be little mistakes that you do. So it's better to kind of learn the process and test something before you go all in. And then that £200 should make you 600 back, and you can invest that and keep investing. That's what my nephew did that was at uni. In fact, he started with about £500 or £600. If you're going to go to China and get something produced and manufactured, you probably need about £1,000 to begin with. But you don't need to start like that. You can buy things like in the Amazon challenge. A lot of the ladies bought things on Temu, because Temu is really cheap, and you can bundle items together and then create a bundle from it. Obviously, to create a brand and manufacture, you're going to need a bit more, but you don't need that as a beginner. You want to make your mistakes on that smaller investment, if that makes sense. Now, you can also do print on demand where you don't invest a penny, where you have things like these. These are my Bruv AirPod cases that are all print on demand. So I get the sale, and then there's a white label supplier that will get that item and ship it out. So you do print on demand. I'm not that keen on drop shipping, but you do print on demand, um, drop shipping, or you could do digital items where if you're really into branding and creative and design, you can create things that you sell digitally. Oh, you hear that ching ching? That's someone that's just joined. Um, Me and Becky love the ching ching that we get on Etsy, and we wish Amazon had one. But yeah, the digital downloads are great because you're just creating something and then it's downloading. So you haven't got all the shipping and you haven't got all the expense. You've just got to put the time in. And a lot of people do that on Etsy. I hope that's answered your question. That was a long, waffly answer. But let me know if there's not anything that was clear on that. Let me know. So also, when you sign up, obviously you can leave anytime. You don't have to email me to request to leave. That's also why I did it on school. You could just unsubscribe at any time. And oh, God, what I was going to say then? Oh yeah, the reason I'm doing by the fit, when you sign up, that locks in the price. So if I was ever to increase the price, because if there's more content that I put in there, there's more stuff that evolves, bigger. It may be that $19 or £15 goes up, but your price will never go up. Whatever you sign up for will lock in that price. But there's no like, you haven't got to stay for 12 months or 6 months. You could even just try it for a month. Brilliant. Well, thanks for being engaging and asking lots of questions and contributing. It always makes it a lot easier for me. Can't wait to work with all of you. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, you can email me at support@Anna Davidson. And let's blooming smash e-commerce this year. And I'll see those of you inside school. All right. Thanks, folks.